All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm really excited for this morning's call. We always do an exclusive event in the VIP customer group so that those of you using the products can continue to learn about them, gain more insight around them. And I'm really excited for today. You might have seen in the event notes, but I'm going to give a little introduction to Jerry White. Jerry White is a member of ASEA's Medical Professional Board. He's developed several ways for people to learn to test the function, reflexes, balance, and strength of ASEA's redox signaling products. And he's going to be sharing them with you today. So I'm really excited. You know, Jerry's personal vision and passion make his partnership with ASEA really powerful. He has an extensive clinical background as a physical therapist, as well as a background in research. He founded the Gait Orthopedic and Neurological Lab at Shriners Hospital and was an adjunct professor of biomechanics and physiology at EWU Physical Therapy School. He has worked with elite athletes. He has a mind like no one I've ever met. Every conversation I have with him is always a blast, and I never know where it's going to take us. So, Jerry, thank you so much for stepping away from the live event you're at to jump on with us here globally on Zoom.
It's a pleasure. And our sound is good?
Before we dive into this, can you give us some background on like, what is muscle testing? How does it work? Can you just give us a little bit of context for maybe people that aren't familiar with it?
Well, there's two types of muscle testing. The first type is what we would do in physical therapy. It's basically, it has the muscle, the function it should have. Have you lost function? And there's a lot of reasons why you can do that. The nervous system could go down, the muscles can be damaged, they could be sore, you could have all mechanical problems. And so we do tests. So I have that in my background, and we're going to teach you a little bit of that this morning. And there's some rules to the testing, and it just either works or it doesn't work. The other type of muscle testing, there's a kind of muscle testing you might see a practitioner use for diagnosing things, trying to figure it out. And it's a whole world. The start of what's called applied kinesiology. And that's saying your body knows what it needs, and it'll tell me if I know how to ask it. And so we put a series of stressors on your body. Now, I've gone to a third leg of all of that with this new technology that is really crazy. I mean, this is like, baby, bring it. And that is really the idea that instead of doing a muscle test, and today what I want to share with you is going to be I want you all to learn to be very judicious testers of human function, not I'm big, strong, you win, I lose, kind of thing, which is what is implied when people are doing a muscle test, is that there's this sort of, what we're going to do is we're going to actually take a look at changing the body's ability to do coordinated activity. If it's coordinated, you can do a lot of things really well and really easily. If it's uncoordinated, you can look like most Americans do today. And we're going to try to correct that coordination so that the cells in your body start talking to each other at every possible level, and show you that you could take your family, bring them in the room, do a couple of little tests, and you go, shut the front door. What just happened? So let's show you how to do that. I'm going to bring in somebody named Sasha.
Thanks, Sasha, for being here today. We appreciate you.
And what Sasha's going to do, my big advantage with Sasha is that she's never seen this work before. And so I thought, let's get somebody that looks incredibly intelligent, has all the parts working and all that sort of stuff. And we're going to take a look at how the human body responds to a balance challenge. You up for that?
Yeah.
Okay, so as what I'm going to show you is something, I got to try to make this sort of simple to make sense. But here's what happens. Our bodies are built with these sensors, and the sensors are called nerve endings. And those nerve endings will take in information and we process it. How do we process it? It goes from your toe up to your spine. It makes a junction there. Then it goes up to your brain, makes another junction there. These are called synapses. That takes a little time every time it goes to one of those. And so I'm going to challenge Sasha's balance a little bit, and I want to watch how her body uses it. So what I'm going to do first is called a reflex test. You know how they sit you on the table and they whack on your knee, and that's a reflex. Well, these reflexes are things that your body is automatically designed to respond, even if you don't think about it. Here's an example. You stick your hand in hot water and you pull it out real fast. That's a reflex. And before you even know what you did it. So we're going to see if Sasha can show me and you what a reflex looks like, a reflex response. So I'm going to move my camera here, and I want you to stand back a little bit. Now we'll get this. Okay, Sasha, just a second. I'm going to have Sasha prepare for it. Because she's got a higher heel, this test won't work. So can you take your shoes off? Yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'll tell you, explain this while she's taking her shoes off. As I push up on her hands, her job is to hold strong and resist and don't move. Don't let those arms go up. You'll see people do all kinds of things when we ask them to do that. They'll go, I want that. Don't move. Okay. Then we're going to watch, how does her body respond to that? I got to just get just enough here to get the feet. Okay.
That's perfect. So, yeah.
Here we go. So Sasha, I'm going to count down from 3, 2, 1. As I press up, you don't let me push. 3, 2, 1. Resist. Feel your toes go up?
Yeah.
Now, how much force was that?
Not much.
Not much. Almost nothing.
Yeah.
And what's happening is reflexes just go, oh, I'll just push my feet up. That'll make sense. Anybody ever do sit-ups and nobody held your feet?
Yeah.
Well, this is not very efficient. It's like nobody's holding your feet. Your feet want to grab onto something. It doesn't have a table or something to grab onto. And you'll fall over backwards. So the reflex is inefficient. It's not the best thing you could do to keep from falling over. That's test number 1. Test number 2 is a basket test. And we're going to look at a similar thing here. And then I'm going to, if Alana is around, when Alana does this, you're really going to be amazed. But this one, we're going to do a basket test where you make your fingers into a basket. Hold your arms down like this, in tight. And in this case, you're not going to fall forward. She just stays up nice and tall, doesn't fall forward. We're going to find out how much it takes to watch that foot react. 3, 2, 1, resist. Don't fall forward. And wow, she fell forward. That reflex, it's not efficient enough. So if we're all going through life, trying to get balance, get efficiency, wouldn't it be better if it was more efficient? We're finding out is things like radio waves, microwaves, lack of nutrition, lack of hydration, poor nutrition, poison in the air, poison in the water, too much noise, lack of sleep. All these things can cause you to be out of focus. We're going to try taking this technology and regaining focus. You good with that? I want to do one more test on Sasha, because she's an adult. And what I want you to do is, we know that each one of us are either tense in our environment or relaxed. And you kind of know who you are, and there's certain situations, one or the other. We're going to find out how tense she is just on a regular basis. And I'm going to do that by looking at muscle tension. I'm going to ask her to put her arms out. I'll be bringing the arms back like this to see how her perception is. She'll tell me, I feel a stretch right there, and I'm going to measure that with a tape. It looks like this. Turn around backwards. We're going to make it like she's being crucified, arms out the side. It won't be that bad. Arms out, my thumbs up. And as I pull back, you just let it go and tell me when you feel a little stretch, like that's about as far as you want to go right there. Now I'm just pulling them straight back. If I was too high, it locks, it doesn't work. Just a little lower than that, right about here. And we come back, do it again, and it's about the same. Comes to the same point. Well, that gives us an advantage. If you're the type of person who likes to do like me, you get out your tape measure with a spring in it. And we're going to measure. Now I'd like to have it turn all the way around this one. From here to here, and you tell me when you feel that same tension. And that is
26.
So that's 26 inches. It means at that point, your body's saying, I'm not comfortable that you're going any farther. I'm tense, I'm tight. I'm going to guard against that. Call it a guarding reaction. Now, there's a lot of little physical therapy things go with this, but these 3 tests you can do anytime you want to. So the first thing is, all I need to do is to introduce to her skin or orally ASEA, one way or the other. I like to do both at the same time. So what I want you to do is to open up and I'll spray this on your tongue. And what's it taste like?
Cool.
She's a swimmer, tastes like a swimmer. Okay, so then I want you to take this and I'm going to put it on your finger. Now, I've learned over time just to put it where there aren't any clothes, because if you put the gooey stuff on the clothes, it doesn't make any difference. Now, the easiest thing is, because most people have their neck exposed, I like to put it on your neck. Some people get into all this stuff about carotid arteries and all these other things. Just stick it on your neck. So right here, just when I get to the same level of force that we did before, but I have to kind of help her understand that, because she'll just, all she knows is she's either losing her balance or she's not. So as we do this, I'm going to start to press up. 3, 2, 1, resist. There's the same force. There's double. Keep it hard, hold it. There's another one. And then I'm going to go for it. You hold it tight. There, do you feel your abdominal muscles kicking in? Totally different strategy. No feet. Come here just a second. What did that feel like that was different from the first time?
So the first time I felt like my whole focus was trying to not lose my balance. And the other time I just felt my abs activate and that I was able to resist.
Now, you know what's interesting? I'm going to tell you a secret. There are probably 150 different calculations and muscle contractions have to figure that out to get to the ab part. When I added this to her system, all of a sudden, with one touch of this stuff to the skin, you're now able to process faster than you did those 150 different pieces through what I'm calling cellular communication. It's that Batman to Robin. It's like a parallel nervous system that talks to everything all at once. And Sasha's going to be, Alana's going to do this there in just a second. So my second test with the basket, I'm going to do that on Alana because it's going to be even more impressive with her. But let's just take that one where we had the arms moving back this way. Turn around backwards, and we did our Remember our number? 26 inches, right? Your job, what she's going to do is to tell me when she gets to a point where she feels the same tension. So here's this, and we'll come back and you tell me when you feel about the same.
Like right there.
Okay, and read the number.
15.
26 to 15. What's happened is her body says, hey, I can see the world more clearly. I have a really much better understanding of what's going on. I don't have to be tense and try to hold against it. So all of a sudden, all the chores of the day become easier. If you're having trouble balancing, if you're aware of the environment, you're scared, you watch somebody try this. It's just like, I could put you through hours and hours of physical therapy and do more with you by just applying this to your neck or your arms in 30 seconds than what I could do in the lab. Okay, let's try Alana here. Now, Alana, as you can tell, is like one of those great American weightlifters. She's a little kid who loves to do some sports. What was it, karate?
Yeah, swimming and running.
So karate, swimming, and running. So what we're going to do is we're going to see how Alana reacts to our test, pressing down on her hands. So I want you to step back so I can see your feet right about there. And when I push down, you don't fall forward. You stay like this, okay? So turn just a little bit. Make your hands do a basket. Keep it in kind of tight like this. When I push down with my hands, I'm going to start out real slow and say, don't fall forward. Just don't fall forward. Don't touch. Well, keep those fingers really laced in there tight. I don't want them to come apart. And don't fall forward. And you notice how she falls forward? Well, there's a really interesting reason for that. It's because she likes me. Actually, it's because she's using something that's maybe not efficient enough. And so we want her to get better at karate. We want her to get better at some of her activity. So let's just see if we can do the same thing with this completely harmless material. If I just put this on your finger and put it on your neck. Rub it in front, back, all the way around. So what we're going to do now is we're going to test Alana and see if her system has changed any. So I'm going to do it this way. So Alana, I want you to stand here, like about there, here.
I can't see your feet.
Sure, we're good if you need to be. Okay, Alana, I want you to hold your hands like that. And over just a little bit more. There we go. Now get your feet. Isn't this amazing? This is sort of like watching what's that show where they make up stuff? And okay, move toward me just a little bit. Hold those hands tight. Remember, it was like if I put in 2 Easter eggs, she fell over before, right? So now I want you to don't fall forward. Just be like a rock. In 3, 2, 1, resist. You got it. Hold it.
Whoa.
They're really slick, but she didn't fall over. When you do that at home, it's going to mess you up. And you're going to go, what is that? Especially if you see somebody that's got some really interesting things. Life deals us all kinds of stuff. But one of them is, have you ever seen somebody who's they kind of have to do this? 60s, 70s, 80s, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Try this. And the first thing you do is just say, go up or down the stairs. I did this really interesting one at somebody's house. The guy had come over to visit with the family. And he was in the front yard and he was trying to hold on to things as he came in. He was getting into his 70s and he started to lose the ability to go upstairs. He was going to have to leave the house that he'd grown up in and move somewhere else. And we just put it on him. Gave about 5 minutes. You don't really need the 5 minutes, but we did that anyway. And we had him get up, walk over and climb 6 stairs and turn around and come back. He sat down and just wept. These things you're going to see right now. So I'm going to go up ahead and let you ask me some questions, and then I'll show you one other little piece for this just introduction. Again, you're using this on a daily basis to find out if it works. If you really want to know the best way to do this, if you'll just, if you really want to know this stuff works. If you'll just run over somebody's foot, push them down the stairs, and burn them with a cookie sheet.
Like that.
5 minutes. It'll make all kinds of difference.
Don't worry, I got the answer. So I guess like my question would be, or like people are going to say, well, how to do that, right? Like what actually are those molecules doing that allow the system to?
It's all about communication. It's all about communication. Here's an example. Have you ever not talked to somebody for 20 years and you think about it and the phone rings and you're going, shut up, no way. How did that happen? Or is it possible that a mom could experience, in your case, for example, in your head injury, your accident, maybe thousands of miles away, you knew your kids got hurt just like that? Is that even possible? Is it possible that we have these communication systems, even down to the cellular level, we just didn't know they were there before? And now we have a way to waken them. It's like an orchestra that's warming up. It's just kind of confused. Sounds like a mess. That's how we operate now in this world around us. And then the conductor taps the wand, gets everyone's attention and said, here's the beat that we're on. And they all work together. That's what's happening now, is that your whole system, all the way down to the most minute parts of how the cells work within themselves, are communicating the way they were built. Now, with this ASEA material, we're proposing that causes them to remember how to work like it did when you were young. Is that a big deal? And if they do it long enough, there's a thing called neuroplasticity, where your body will build replacement parts because it built them in the first place. You just forgot how, because you're missing some of the letters of the alphabet that allow you to read, turn on the genes, interpret the DNA. We add them back. We don't have to know anything more other than that they already knew how to do it because they did it for years and years, and you're just reminding them to do it again.
But that was the best analogy, the orchestra coming on and the conductor saying, no, here we go, and getting it all in alignment. I've never heard it explained that way. Very quick, this should be a quick answer for these two questions. Number one, have you found that this works on everyone you do it on? And number two, how long does it last?
Okay, this particular little set of tests that we do are reflex tests. The reflex test. We're comparing, are you going to just use a reflex because it started and it's a protective mechanism, it's automatic, you don't have to think about it, doesn't take time, but it's going to make you fall over. It's not efficient. It's not the thing you learn to do when you stop bouncing off your diaper. That's more complicated. This test will last as long as a good warm-up.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you said you had one more test for us?
Well, here's the most important test that you can do, especially with somebody who's a skeptic, is to say, what hurts? What's your problem? And you think about it. How many things in your body are built of cells? Everything. And so if each of those cells has the same DNA, the same operating system, and we're adding back this cellular communication, what could change? Well, if it's off balance and it used to do it and it goes back, I guess pretty much a lot of things, right? So the thing that the last test is something that bothers you. One of the most common ones is just turn your head to the side. Now, as you get more stressed, as you get more damaged, as you get older or whatever, you're going to be limited for a lot of people in that ability to turn your head to one side or to turn your head to the other side. So sitting with a group of people and have everybody do that. Have their friend watch where their nose is going at the end of it. Then we ask the question, whose dog was that? No, turn your head and then say, where do you feel it? And they go, right here. They say, well, turn it the other way. Oh, binding up. Where do you feel it? What? I feel it right here. So then we go, well, where would I put this? Wherever you think you need it. So put it on. We oftentimes say if it's uncomfortable, we also like to ask the question, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is that pain? Or 0 to 10. 0, no pain, 10 is most beyond what you can conquer. And then take that number, apply this 3 times in 5 minutes, and then try the same thing again. And this is where we could get into, I've promised this to Danielle for a long time, but I promised a lot of things to a lot of people for a long time. Then I get confused. And like my granddad said, at least my forgetter ain't broke. But I have good intentions. The key is that we can measure all kinds of things. I'll just give this one example. You can learn to measure other things. Let's take my arm here. Now I had this lady, we'll do this. We were in this big presentation and she said, yeah, it hurts when I do this. She goes, I get up to here and go, oh, that's bad. So, well, for one thing, I know that she's kind of like, this is really uncomfortable for her, or she really wants to make a point. So what you want to do is you want to measure these things, just like we did with that tape measure across here. So what I did was I said, from a physical therapy standpoint, I'd be doing this all the time. Watch this. Put this part on something that's not going to move and ask her to lift this part and measure something, the distance from there to the table. How about that? So we did that. We had her apply it. And then this is the interesting reason for doing something like same thing for turning your head. Be aware of the before, then put it on, then do the after. So 15 minutes later, we pulled her up in front of a group of 700 people and the TV screens were on her and everything else. I said, I want you to move that through and tell me if you feel anything different. And she got like this. And she got like this. And she got like this. And then she went, it hurts like crazy. So I said, did you notice any difference? No, it still hurts as much as it always did. But we had this where we could come back and make a comparison. When she first did it, we were up for 1.5 inches. And then I said, okay, now you tell me when it starts to hurt again. She was up at 5 inches. And she said, y'all, this works. So just measure something before. And if it's like, it hurts to get up and my leg gets stuck or my knee hurts. It hurts to walk up 4 steps. You know what I want you to do? Walk up 4 steps. Remember, what does it feel like? Then put it on, try it again. That's the best way to measure. That's the last test. Anything that hurts on you.
Powerful test. I've done that in front of hundreds of people and it always blows my mind. So hopefully guys, today you have some things you can go home with or go test with the people you're at home with right now and just play with this stuff. It's amazing. Jerry, people do have questions. This is different muscle testing than you shared with us today. And I just want to toss it out there because I saw it in the chat and honestly just would like your perspective on it. So homeopathic doctors, naturopaths, some chiropractors, they do different sort of muscle testing where like, oh, does this agree with your body, right? Is your body saying that this is good for you or not? I hope this woman was asking because she said she was tested with ASEA and her daughter was, and they both didn't test well for it. And they said, oh, is there just some products that are good for everyone?
No, there's a very interesting answer to that one, which is really crazy. Yeah, your body actually will tell you, and this is a whole science. It'll tell you whether that's good for me or it's not good for me. And that's really what's happening. It's either harmonic and coordinating or it's not. It makes you more confused and it makes it worse. So what we found is if they test it by holding the bottle up here, they're testing the plastic.
Oh, interesting.
And that's negative. And if you put it in a glass bottle or glass container or put it on this way, then it'll test positive.
Oh, wow. You just blew my mind with that little tidbit. Amazing. Or I guess you could spray it with the tongue or yeah, you get it in and on you. Oh, beautiful. Look at you. The chat's lighting up too. They love that also. So Jerry, I think on that note, we'll let you get back to everyone that's waiting for you in Atlanta. And thank you for spending some time with us today. Thank you all for joining us from all over the world. Yes, it's being recorded. The VIP customer group on Facebook. This interview can be found under #interviews. I'll also pin it to the top for the next month or so you can easily find it. For those people that aren't on Facebook, it's going to be uploaded. Give me a little bit of time to get it there, but it'll be uploaded as soon as we wrap up here onto the Vimeo and YouTube channel for ASEA United. So you can.
One thing I would caution you against, what I was going to say, you can't hurt anybody with this. This is probably the best safety tested material in the history of safety testing. So you should hear the backstory. But you can hurt somebody doing a test like this. You got this long lever arm, you got these weak muscles. You could tear somebody's shoulder out. I'm telling you, look, this is a simple assessment of how the body responds. Listen to people. Do something that says, I don't want to hurt you. What I want to do is to find that sort of perceived limit. If you're a gorilla and you want to watch somebody, you want to hear a ripping sound and see the blood pooling in their armpit, and become an orthopedic surgeon. Don't do that. This is a subtle test of a change. That's why I hate the idea of muscle testing, because it sounds like it's, I'm going to win this or I'm going to lose this. So I just say when we're doing this test, I say, yeah, do it slow onset, let the system work with itself. And you're just going to find out how it's working, what's happening, what's talking about it. Don't yank it. That is too much force, out of control, and you're going to hurt somebody. So just be a subtle tester and be amazed. The second thing is, just really important to know, it will not take away pain you should feel.
Interesting.
And that gives a tremendous sense of it just seems like reality, really. But see, if you have two bones that are, or you have a bone, it breaks like this, and every time you step on it, the tips of the bones are cutting into tissue, your body says, let's splint that. You get kind of cramps, it hurts. You want to put a splint around it because you've got to stop the damage. The pain is there for a reason. So if you do some of these things and it doesn't take away some pain that you should see, go see if somebody is a professional in that. Because you've got orthopedic problems, you got bones stuck in the way, you got some chip, you got some tear, you got something like that. So that's really cool to know as a diagnostic tool. You know, that works like crazy. And it will most of the people that you work with right now. But if there's still some leftover, something like that, you can always still have orthopedic problems. You can always have problems with some. So it won't take away pain you should feel. But here's the one you really want to know. When you're testing this on people, you get to save this one because we just tell them if it doesn't work, maybe you just didn't need to improve in that, but what we know is it only works on the most intelligent people. All right, thanks.
Appreciate you, Jerry. Appreciate all of you listening. Everyone have a beautiful weekend. Bye, guys.
Bye.